Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the UKLC. We just had game number 1 being XL, kind of dominantly stomping over Barrage and sets a precedent going into playoffs and next week. Now, we have MnM versus Phelan as our next game coming up. So, Phelan are a team who have been knocked out the running, unfortunately, but for MnM, wins here are important because they can still technically make it into top 4 and still make it into that playoff run.
I think the big thing with MnM's run right now is they can still dictate their run to playoffs. With a lot of this sort of saying, you know, yesterday when we said Demise could still win playoffs, it wasn't just conditional on them winning games. They had to wait for other teams to lose games. But if MnM win every single match, they will force at least, at the bare minimum, a tiebreaker with Envision, and then that will decide the 4th place spot. So it's very much in their hands, but if they lose this game, then they need Envision to drop a game as well if they're going to catch up with them. So obviously, getting as much wins as possible is critical if this team wants to make playoffs, get that 4th seed, and face up against XL.
Yeah, and I mean, MnM are... Phelan are looking just for kind of upset here. It's kind of playing for pride and also playing to upset MnM. So we'll have to see what they've got kind of planned out for that. Eyes for me are on to people like Jack Spectra because he came into the season. He's been playing very well all season long. And that's what I'm kind of looking at because I'm looking elsewhere on this map and I'm like, MnM have got a pretty strong roster. Even though, you know, they're not currently in that top 4. That is a roster to be scared of, but I feel like you probably could force through a Chew and a Fias if you wanted to.
MnM have been on a really strong upward trend, but we have seen issues from individual members like throughout the course of the split. But right now, they are looking pretty promising. I think it is sort of a hard matchup for Phelan, but if they're still putting the role into it with the pride on the line, they could look to challenge them. They can actually still, if they win this one, and then next week goes in their favor, they could still overtake MnM, get a bit more prize money, a bit more pride on the line. So ultimately still focused on trying to get that. I think we saw a lot of success come from the carries of Phelan Gaming. Dragain and Jack Spectra were critical ones in previous matches. So maybe looking towards them to find success. Right now we're seeing bans come out heavily targeted towards the mid lane so far with Syndra and Ziggs taken away and then the Pantheon on the side of MnM. We get to see what else gets taken off the cards, but not too many of the power picks we saw last game.
Yeah, a lot of the 80
tier
carries,
80 carries
yeah, so that's going to be the Jarvan taken away. He's a kind of top pick in the jungle at the moment.
Big one
so
for Sawyer as well.
Yeah, big one for Sawyer. Now, Phelan, do they want to ban away something else like maybe the Gragas, the Lee Sin, deny Soft? Because we know Soft has put a lot of priority on the Lee Sin, especially at the beginning of the season.
We've seen a lot of bans towards Olaf, but normally they wait till second rotation. I feel like you could look in other areas, maybe ban away one of those 80 carries you don't want to deal with, maybe the Senna, and then look to prioritize, say, the Ornn that's still available. So they will ban away an 80 carry. It's not the Senna, it's going to be the Misfortune, which Chew has been playing quite a bit of. And now MnM. If they ban an 80 carry here, it means that Phelan potentially gets priority. If they don't, they could trade off, but they might ban away an 80 carry, Phelan take Ornn,
yeah, that's what we saw yesterday with Fnatic.
Or they ban the Ornn away in this situation and they just trade 80 carries. Either way, they have a variety of options here, but I suspect it'll be one of those.
Well, it looks like they are going to be running down this clock. They ban away the set, so the Ornn, both of the 80 carries, kind of the Senna and the Aphelios have been left open. Phelan, they want to go for the Ornn. You know that it just gives you that kind of bigger power spike in the mid game because you can start to exchange your items to ornaments. And now MnM, with that set ban away, what do they want to be taking? Does a Chew want to be picking up the Senna or does he want to be picking up the Aphelios?
Well, I think
unless they just want to go Senna or Aphelios lane. It's hard to deny. I
think the Senna's really strong here. I guess maybe they left the Ornn open because they really hard prioritized the Aphelios. But it seems weird to me that they ban the set in this situation because I feel like most teams will take the Ornn over the set. And they could have taken it themselves right here and potentially used it as a flex as well. So a bit of an interesting last decision on that set ban. I know it's something Beartree plays a lot of. But we'll quickly see the Aatrox prioritized for Mummer. So not something that we typically see prioritized this early when it's not matching up with the set, but something that Mummers has played a lot of.
Alrighty, well, Phelan now, it's over to them. The Aphelios has been left open. That Lee Sin has been left open if they want to pick themselves up a jungler now. We'll probably see the mid lane kind of fall into a lower priority and see what they decide to go for here. So they run the clock down a little bit. They are going to lock in that Lee Sin, and you'd expect to see something like that Aphelios get picked up now. Otherwise, MnM can just ban it away.
They could go in a different direction in terms of the draft, though. They could look for a strong mid pick that can't be counted here. They may not have a super high priority in the Aphelios, although based on what we've seen from Jack Spectra, I do expect it. but that's where they could go in a different direction. If you're going to take the Ophelia, so it has to be now.
You're running that timer down, though. It's been a very elongated pick and ban. They're actually picking the Lulu here. So over to MnM, they could just pick themselves up a mid laner and ban away those counters. Chimera made his debut in the UK on that Anivia, but then you've also got things like the LeBlanc, which he's been performing very well on throughout the rest of the season. Solid blind pick, safe, and can work like that. You can also go for the likes of the Zoe as well. So we'll see what they want to pick up.
I'd like to see a jungler here. Soft does like the Rek'Sai has been quite popular for him, especially into the Lee Sin. I feel like it reveals the least because you don't know where this Lulu is going. So you want to be cautious about taking a mid or a support right now because you want to know the matchups. I think Rek'Sai is the safest pick in this situation. And then they can look to ban away answers. So Kog'Maw,
I know we have to ban that Kog'Maw because you don't want to deal with a Lulu Kog'Maw.
I expect Kog'Maw, Phelios to be the bans from MnM. They're the likely ones. Phelan can still pick up an AD carry like Varus potentially. To match up, or maybe even the Ashe.
You'd expect Phelan to ban away the Tahm Kench here, though, because that goes so well with the center. Also, you got that Braum as well, just something that can offer safety to the center. Because if they go for this fasting center lane, Tahm Kench obviously does give you that safety.
I've seen a ton of things played with the fasting center, though. To me personally, I think with the draft Phelan has so far, the fact that they have a Lulu, Tahm Kench is not good in a Lulu. There's not much you can really save your AD carry from against them. So maybe if they're planning to put that in the support role for Raisins, they're not scared about a Tahm Kench. If MnM take that, they just flat out lose. And so they ban the Diana as well. One of these mid lane picks that potentially could threaten Dragain, especially if they leave mid lane for counter pick. Now, what I'd like to see is a flex mid here. Not a big fan of this.
Okay. It could be mid. Could still be technically a Varus mid, like the fully lethality Varus we used to see in the mid lane.
In that theory, it is a flex, but I really don't like Senna with like an AD carry in the bot lane in this situation. I don't think it's the best suited thing to it from what we've seen from the fasting Senna. But we'll just have to see how it plays off. It's an interesting one. If they do flex it mid, then I think that's where it has more strength as a poke champion, but it would be blind. So
I thought we were going to see the Draven.
Yeah, coming in with a Draven for Phelan for Jack Spectre, his mainstay champion that he's lent towards. And now we got to see where the Lulu's going. If it's going to be in the mid lane, it's going to be in the support role. Could even go top if you're going really crazy, but I wouldn't like that matchup into the Aatrox.
Okay, well, Phelan now looking to round out their comp. We don't know whether or not this Lulu's going mid or if it's going support or what's going where really is. They are going to reveal the Nico pickup here. So it's most likely their mid laner. You could still technically send it top and go for that on-hit Nico, depending on the lane, but you'd expect it to go into the mid lane. And now MnM looking to round out their comp, most likely looking for a mid here. It looks like Chimera is just going to go for a comfortable blind pick, but maybe not. They are looking to kind of flex around a little bit. We'll see what they decide to lock in for, because this is a bit of an odd draft here. They do lock in that LeBlanc, so it's going into the mid lane. Double AD carry bot lane. Does mean that if they go into turrets, they can do a lot of damage, but you've already said you're not a massive fan of this, and Lulu Draven is going to be quite rough to fight into on Varus Senna.
Yeah, and now Phelan have actually gone for a situation where Ornn into LeBlanc is a great matchup because LeBlanc's never going to kill an Ornn.
Yeah.
You take a range matchup into the Aatrox top, which kind of opts out of his whole sort of trading pattern. The Nico has a movement speed buff on a W as well. So if the Infernal Chains land, you can run out of them. So you're not really going to be threatened that much. It gives you priority in the mid lane that Sawyer can play around. And then it's just putting all your eggs into the bot lane basket with this Draven Lulu. If the Draven gets ahead, he can start to take over the game. Once he has that Bloodthirster, MnM are going to really struggle to challenge him. And I'm just not a massive fan of the Varus Senna as a lane duo. It's got good trading power, but if you jump onto them, they're both just so squishy.
Yeah, and Sawyer probably will be looking to play through that bot side of the map on the Lee Sin. Fantastic at ganking early. Obviously, Soft is on the Rek'Sai, so you can get that creative kind of gank paths, kind of tunneling over walls and stuff. But they are playing on the red side, so that does mean that actually those kind of creative Rek'Sai ganks that would kind of come from that longer wall, you've actually not got that as an option unless you go through their jungle to get that tunnel.
Yeah, I mean, obviously there's that factor to it, but just for me personally, and this is obviously going to be my opinion, I would like to see something like the Rumble come out. Something that's solid as a blind and as a flex. You can put that bot lane with the fasting center. You can put it mid, which can be a decent matchup. But just potentially something along those lines that can be flexed. Nautilus being banned away was another one that I'd typically like to see because it is flexed between those two.
Yeah.
The Ornn even could have actually, although that was taken by the other side, but yes, sorry, the Ornn was on the other side.
Yeah.
Picks like that, picks that you can flex between mid and the fasting center lane would have been nice. And I just think the Varus, not the best sort of situated pick in this environment. So we'll have to see how it plays out, but I feel like for Phelan, you look to punish that bot lane. If you can take advantages there, great. On the opposite side, MnM need to somehow find success in this mid jungle. It's definitely possible. It's a good matchup for the Rek'Sai, but Ornn can sometimes be just a bit of a brick wall. That's the reason you pick him. That's the reason he's prioritized. And that might make things a little bit difficult for MnM.
I think it's really on to MnM to make us eat our words on this bot lane. We'll have to see how that's going to be phasing out as we are taking to the Summoner's Rift for our second game of the day. Oh boy. Phelan, like you said, they can't make playoffs, but they can make it higher in the standings, means you get more prize money. So they've still got something to play for here. It's not just about pride. We'll see who's going to be able to pull out this win as we take to the Rift and instantly go into a pause.
Yeah, instantly get a pause. So we're having a ping issue. Hopefully it does get sorted out soon. But yeah, I've seen a lot of picks with the fasting center. I'm yet to see an AD carry pot with it. So this is a bit of an interesting one for me. I mean, I have in solo queue, but not in competitive. I don't think it's as strong. But we'll see how it plays out. Ultimately, it does mean that you have these great backliners in the later stages of the game. But I feel like Phelan are going to have this Draven that if they can get fed, he's just going to be able to walk forwards and be this massive force to be reckoned with. They have a lot of CC available to their composition as well, so that'll find them pretty favorably at stages of the game. And essentially, it's going to come down in later on. What can Chimera and Mummers do? So MnM might well just play around their solo laners in this situation, because if you can get a lead for either of them, you can sort of pull ahead in that regard. But remains to be seen.
Well, it looks like our issues are ironed out, and we are heading back onto the Rift for our second game of the day. Like I said, it's not just about pride here for Phelan. They might be out the runnings, but they can still make it higher up the standings. Now, if you wonder why they can't make playoffs, it's because they can't go beyond 4th anymore, unfortunately. And I think even if they could, it's head-to-heads also kind of cost them quite heavily, don't they?
Yeah, if MnM lose this one, then they're kind of reliant on Envision dropping games, which is not a good win condition. Because Envision may drop a game against Fnatic, but then MnM also have to play Fnatic. So what MnM want to do for the end of the split is just win every game in front of them. I'd say this one's probably the easiest matchup up against Phelan, because I believe they're playing against Phelan, Envision, and Fnatic Rising. The critical one is the Envision game. If they lose that one, they're just flat out of playoffs. In most situations, the only situation they still make it to playoffs is if Envision lose the other 2 games and MnM beat Fnatic and Phelan here. But either way, win what's in front of you, and we're going to see the game start off and how things play out. Both junglers starting on the top side. It's going to be Sawyer going leashless, but Soft getting a little bit of help.
Yeah, Dragain makes his way into the lane. He's enjoying the fact that he's just picked something that kind of neutralizes the LeBlanc. So having a bit of a dance in the lane. So Jack going for a little bit of light trading versus a Chew and a Fire. So they've actually already got himself a bit of a health advantage. Some of the scrapping has already broken out. Top side, you're seeing a CS load starting up here for Bear Tree, mainly just because of his ability to zone Mummers. There is a wave crashing in here, so Mummers shouldn't really lose out too much. But Bear Tree now with that level advantage does look to try and root up Mummers, but can't quite find him.
So we haven't seen Nico at all in quite a while, in total honesty. This is a champion that has pretty strong trading power. If you get a rotation, the root through the minions, and then you follow up with that Pot Blossom, it can do decent damage. It's mostly just annoying to get on top of with the movement speed on your W and the CC available. And that's what they're essentially playing for here. A lot of heavy trading coming out, but Sawyer's looking for the gank.
Yeah, Sawyer's looking to make his way in, and Fire's already going low. Jack wants to get these auto attacks in. The kick goes wide and the teleports are coming down. Jack's used the barrier. He's trying to get the damage back out in time, but he's getting healed up. He flashes into the tower. Chimera comes forward, and it's first blood onto a Chew. Now Raisins, he's getting run down. Soft finds the knockup. The flash comes out and the shielding is there. Now they're hopping back into the fight. Soft has gone low as they need to find one more kick to get the damage out, as Raisins now being the one to get run down by a Chew. Sawyer making sure he's nice and safe. They get themselves the kick off onto a Chew momentarily as they don't follow up for anything else. A big scrap in the bot lane, but only Jack Spectra falls.
And actually a big mistake there from Jack Spectra. Very greedy, him flashing in. You should have seen from that situation it was going to blow up into a full skirmish with 4 members on each side. At that point, your focus should not be chasing kills. If Fias was chunked out, he was offering nothing more really to his team. You need to hold on to your summoners and use them to finish out the fight as best as possible. Instead, Jack Spectra greeded for the kill. Now, it is a Draven, so sometimes that is okay if you're going to cash in a lot of stacks. But we're 3 minutes into the game. He didn't have a lot of stacks there. Ultimately, he just ended up burning both summoners, going down, and given a favorable trade over to MnM.
Is absolutely getting smashed right now by Mumus.
Yeah, some heavy trading actually going in favor of the Aatrox. Obviously, the big thing, normally with Aatrox, when he's against melee champions, you want to hold them arm's length, get that distance between them to land your sweet spot. Against Beartree, you just want to run him down is the critical thing. Play around his trading tools. If he uses that route, the Tangle Barbs early, you can then go aggressive with very little to turn around in return. And critically, this is a Comet Nico. We saw a lot of Glacial Augment Nico, and the big difference that's going to make there is that Nico with Glacial Augment, once she autos you, she slows you, but also she can use the movement speed she gets from an empowered W autos to just kite you out. This is no longer a possibility in this situation, but we do, if we get to look towards top lane, see Mumus has been chunked out really heavily, so he must have taken a bad trade in that situation. Does have a bit of self-sustain and that Doran shield, but this is how annoying it can be playing up against the Nico.
Yeah, Beartree doing his best just to punish him as Jack's actually getting really chunked out here. Does dodge away on the route. Now Sawyer looking to see if he can make a gank happen, and she's stepping forward, but doesn't want to get caught out here. And Sawyer does complete his base, so he is out of there. Mumus gets chunked again a little bit more as he's just going to catch this wave.
There's a big collapse tower actually coming in there from Soph and Chimera, so lucky Phelan did back away. I think that's why they made the decision, because the Rek'Sai and the LeBlanc coming in, you have to be really cautious in that situation. Mumus going to get his recall cancelled there, will cancel it himself. And at this low HP, it's kind of difficult. He doesn't want to let the wave crash in before he resets, because that's 8 seconds of minions dying that he would miss out on. But Beartree, unlikely to give him an option in terms of reset. Now, the critical thing that came out was an invade from Phelan gave a lot of vision control on the bot side jungle. Now, one of those wards has actually just died out, which is pretty important because Beartree needs information right now because he's not in a good position in this lane. He's not pushed it on the tower, so he's really precarious if a gank does come in when he doesn't know where Soph is right now. And it's a similar situation here in the bot lane. Raisins and Jack Spectra are pretty overextended, so Sawyer constantly has to be there in case a gank comes in from Soph. And again, MnM are freezing. This is another situation where they've tried to force into the tower and failed. I think at this point, MnM recognize how low the HP bars are on Phelan, so they might end up just shoving it in, but they're not pressured to by any means.
Yeah, they're quite happy, and Soph is now going to get his time to get on to this Cloud Drake. Chimera was able to push out the wave and make sure that Soph can take this uncontested, as Sawyer was bot side. He was seen there, but not about to be able to contest this, as a shove did break out from MnM. They broke the freeze to try and deny some farm. They do have to shove one more wave in before it crashes, though. And then Achu can look to go to base.
So it doesn't actually end up crashing in. Does give an opportunity to Phelan here. They can hold it, although Draven isn't the best at holding waves, as obviously if you want to stack up your passive, you need to be catching those axes, which kind of relies on you shoving in. But for now, they are going to hold it in the position. We do actually see Jack Spectra picking up the pickaxe, so not instantly going towards the Bloodthirster. We could see a Death Dance come out as the first item, which does mitigate a lot of burst, but you don't have that shield coming in to offer you that level of protection. There is going to be big one-item spikes for both sides, and if Fire's actually opting for the extra...
Chimera's got caught, has to flash away. Call of the Forge God's being used, and one more knockup would be enough. Chimera dodges out. Flashless as well, as he's going to be able to live.
Just a little bit off for Dragain there. If he'd found that, the Brittle would have secured his death. But does punish Chimera and allow a bit of priority, but Soph is in place to cover. And they have kept the wave frozen in this situation. So now it means that a Fias and a Chew in a precarious situation. And we said this lane was a little bit difficult to play out with how vulnerable it is. And you can see Jack Spectre walks up and they just back away.
Yeah, Jack's looking to go forward, trying to get some damage onto a Chew, but he's able to kind of get into the zone, the mists or the shadows. I can't remember what it's called now. Have a look.
You can take a look. But yeah, and that's why it's difficult having your lane in this situation frozen in front of tower, because you're constantly scared of being ganked. Now, if you look at the positioning right now for Fire and Chew, they are so much more aggressive. They have actually realized that, so they've backed off again. But this sets a big clue that Soft is here, because they were so scared before, and they're now acting confident. And to me, that indicates, and we can see it from our point of view, the Phelan should be able to read that the enemy jungler is in the vicinity from how they're playing. Like, look at Pfias' position. You would not do that if your jungler wasn't sitting behind you, is what I'm going to say of this one. So Phelan have to play a little bit more precarious. This could allow MnM to shove the wave in. The pressure.
Big piercing arrow there. Now the Whirling Death's being used. The Fires is trying to put some damage out. Soft flashes forward. Jack flashes out. They get the damage underneath the tower, but he charges in and finds the kill. Soft will die to the tower. And now Bear Tree's trying to close in. MnM have to flash away. The Pop Blossom will not find its mark. MnM trade out 1 for 1. Jack is getting denied so hard this lane.
And critically, no TP from Mummus in this situation. So he's just able to shove in. MnM still come out ahead. It's a 1 for 1. They don't burn the TP on the side of the map. Mummus should be able to get a play and some farm in this situation. So heavily in favor of MnM. And yeah, a great trade from Soft there. He was very likely going down after getting kicked under the tower, but he takes out the Draven, cuts down a large amount of those stacks, and resets this sort of snowball that Phelan were looking to achieve, because if they are unable to cash in on those, the Draven's never really going to get going.
Chimera's catching a wave in the mid lane. Jack heads up to top side. They recognize that the attention is shifted towards this Rift Herald spawn, and Phelan already faster on the punch for that, as they're going to shove in mid lane, try to force Chimera off and give complete lane priority so they can move over towards this Rift Herald. Chimera hasn't even got the ultimate to fast clear out the wave, and there is a rotation by MnM. They do recognize that the Rift Herald could be getting started up, but they're just too slow to the punch, and this should just be Phelan's Herald.
Yeah, they should be able to take this one. A good swap coming in, and critically, no summoners, no Chew and a Fires make them in a really precarious position. MnM, I respect the decision to give it up. I think the move from Bear Tree is the critical thing that sets this, but it does mean more gold funneled into Mummus. This wave being missed out by Bear Tree. Yes, he catches mid, but overall it's a net loss in terms of CS for the team, and another plate onto the Aatrox. But with the Herald, they should be able to match that and hopefully stack it onto Jack Spectre, the member they want to get furthest ahead. He's 0-2-1 now. Based on his build, he is going towards that Death Stance rush. So similar AD to the Bloodthirster. Doesn't obviously have that shield or as much lifesteal, but does give that sort of damage reduction where it turns it into a dot, so you can potentially mitigate it on the back of the shields from Raisins. Now, both teams posturing around the top side right now.
Well, the Rift Herald, once it gets used, to Chew's already being chunked out, actually. Has to use himself the ulti. The Railgun connects, and Jack gets caught out by the Wild Growth. Sawyer's trying to find some kind of an opening as they get the Call of the Fall called out by Dragain. It's going to knock up one. Soft has to jump away. Does have that Void Rush, and now the teleport for the backup is coming forward. It's going to be Mummus who pops the World Ender, trying to chase down some members, but already they are struggling. Chimera on that flank, though, gets himself one to store, gets himself two. A double kill for him already. Make it a triple kill. Dragain is going to fall as well, and that is enough. It's a full ace. Everyone but Bear Tree goes down. Not an ace. And it's just a questionable decision again for Phelan. They commit to that fight without the TP advantage. Mummus joins in, and from that point, there was no way they were going to end up winning them. Despite the fact Dragain roams first, Chimera is able to come in at the last moment, get an almost instant triple kill for himself, and Phelan, things are starting to look disastrous. Your Draven, who is a critical win condition for you, is 0-3. Those stacks are permanently being reset. And MnM, they've got gold on the LeBlanc, they've got gold on the Varus, and Mummus, although he doesn't have kills, he's been picking up plates consistently. All the carries for MnM are really strong right now, and it's starting to get a bit worrying for Phelan. Starting to get very, very scary. Chimera 3-0, building towards that Lunan's Echo. Chew's now finished up his Blade the Ruin King, 2-0-3. The Infernal Drake is spawning up. MnM, sure, they didn't get the Rift Herald, but they are getting these dragons, and that's something they want to do here. Want to get some kind of additional options, some additional win conditions as we are looking towards an Ocean Soul. Now, Phelan are able to get that with the Ornn. It actually gets really, really scary to deal with him. Momo's already with a lot of Nate Sustain built into his kit. You combine that with an Ocean Drake for him. That's very nice as well. So both of these teams maybe wanted to look to get this Ocean Soul.
It's great for resetting fights as well. If the initial engage doesn't work, it allows you to back off, heal up, find a favorable situation. And it means if the burst champions don't find success, you know, Battery, Chimera, they aren't able to blow up their targets, they will start to struggle. Now, Herald is available, and they should be able to get this tower low enough to throw it down. It's only Momo's defending, but the plates actually fall. So, missing out on a lot of gold in that situation. They will get the tower, though. They might even push for 2. The ult comes in from Jack Spectre to clear the wave, so I like that play. Should allow them to take a second tower here. The only thing I'm concerned about is the collapse potentially from MnM. So I think maybe you just take the charge and get out in this situation.
Yeah, Chimera doesn't have his teleport available, but it looks like the collapse is coming in, and Phelan commit. World End has been used by Momus, and now he's looking to try and reset up here. Doesn't actually find himself any spots for the knockups as the Chain of Corruptions look to spread. That's going to be an instant annihilation. Aphias will fall, and Soft tunneling forward. Does have that knockup, but gets slowed down by the Glitterlands, trying to close these gaps as he's unable to find it. Beartree does get caught out momentarily, and Soft not going to commit. A lot of CC and a lot of slows available to Phelan means nobody is going to die.
And honestly, that's actually a big win for Phelan. They get the tower and they get out only losing one member. And if we look bot side at Dragain, he's had some alone time. He's getting farm and he should be able to get this. Actually, I think the wave's going to die out, but I think no one's there to respond in time. So he may just take this tower on his own. But ultimately, considering how precarious that looked for Phelan, the fact they only lost one member and they're able to get 2 towers, definitely in their favor. Now, the big thing is, can they defend mid? No, I think Chimera just takes this and gets away. So I'm going to lose a bit on the top lane because I lost that priority. So overall, the play does start to swing a bit back into MnM's favor.
It was a good route by MnM to pull that back in their favor.
True, but I still think because Phelan were behind and given the overall state of how that play went, it was a good play for them. Obviously, when you're behind, you want to be trading, and they're finding another window in the mid lane to get this tower. So some heavy trading right now. Both teams just picked up 3 towers in essentially the blink of an eye, and it means a lot more gold instantly being funneled in, and this does favor the team that's behind because gold leads are going to mean less as we get further into the game in terms of gold state. We now have the Death Stance picked up for Jack Spectre, so that's a defensive item. And Phelan definitely have a window where they come back strong into this game. When Ornn starts to get his own item upgrades, he gets really bulky, hard to deal with, and then he can start handing them out to teammates. And I think there will always be a win condition for Phelan, even when behind, because if you land a Pop Blossom onto a Chew and a Fires, that can just instantly win the fight. Yeah. Just that burst potential, take down those 80 carries, and then I don't feel like there's enough from Chimera and Mummus and Soft to clean up, especially when you're dealing with the likes of Dragain, who is super bulky already, and is only going to get tankier.
And when you got a Lulu as well, it means Chimera's job gets really hard to find these assassinations, but you can't always find a pick like that onto Sawyer, just catch him out with the CC chain. Did use the chains there from a Chew to find that kill, but this now means that they've got enough pressure to be able to take down that tier 1 in the bot lane. And that does now mean that all 3 of the outer turrets for Phelan have finally crumbled. And MnM can start up to push in these side lanes now. Are they going to go for a 1-3-1? At the moment, it looks like it's just that kind of 1-4 while Soft is off warding.
I think Soft is going to pick up that second Herald, which they can potentially use to break down a tier 2. There's some pings coming out bot lane, but ultimately, Amomus has already backed away. I don't think they're going to be in time to contest this. There's so much vision to walk through, they're scared off. So MnM going to find some more success in this situation. The pick was really good. Achu has been really on point with his Chains of Corruption, constantly setting up plays. And I do like the Varus in that regard because it pins down individual members of Phelan and allows them to punish.
Now Dragain, not quite at the ornaments yet, has started up his Sunfire Cape as well. Wants to get his Infernal Musk and the Forge Fire Cape for himself as soon as possible. And when these items start to get handed out, these upgrades to other champions, that's when the Ornn really starts to kind of come into its own. However, for the moment, Jack actually doesn't have an item that could be upgraded. And I'm curious to see what they pick up on him that will be upgraded, whether it be the Molten Edge or something like that.
Probably Infinity Edge. Almost definitely will be the item he picks up. Could come in second, could come in later on. We do often see the Bloodthirster into Infinity Edge, so it'd be similar here. Dragain going to get rooted up, but they can just back off in the situation. They're looking for a pick, though, using that extra brush awarded by the Ocean Soul map. And they are looking to contest this Dragon. They want to give Soul Point to the enemy team. Engage coming in.
All of the forward squads on, and Fias is going to go golden. Now they actually just misdirect. Fias jumps away, uses the railgun. A massive amount of burst as he dies, though. Chimera jumps in, tries to find himself one, gets it in response to the Pop Blossom. Only lands onto one. The kick is there. Bear Tree flashes away. Achu's just kiting Dragain as a double kill has already been picked up for Chimera. That's going to be another one, and they are just walking through this fight. The tower execute comes down, and that time they find the full ace.
Yeah, they just clean sweep them, in all honesty. It's fortunate for Phelan the Baron isn't up, but they absolutely decimated them. Phelan opted for the fight, but the stopwatch and the flash from Aphias bought a lot of time in that situation. Jack Spectra out of mana, as he seems to always be in these situations, and MnM finding a beautiful flank to punish. I thought it potentially could have been turned around from a Pop Blossom from Bear Tree, but it didn't connect onto enough members. Herald gets thrown down, they get a tower mid. They're going to be on Soul Point. And MnM, yes, they're quite close in terms of standings compared to Phelan, but their recent form has shown that we would expect this level of play from them. They've been ramping up extremely heavily, nearly beating Excel, the undefeated roster, and right now they're handing it to Phelan. But as I said before, there's always the avenue to come back in the game. Well, they no longer have flash from anyone on the side of MnM. So potentially something could be found if they get a great engage onto Achu and Aphias.
MnM were the team that sunk Barrage as well. Barrage previously had only lost to XL, who are the undefeated kind of kings at the moment. And MnM did take them out, so this roster really is something formidable, something to be reckoned with. We'll have to see if they can make it to playoffs and what they can do. They still have to kind of rely on some of their stuff versus Envision. Envision, another formidable roster as well. So playoffs starting to get pretty exciting now. So we're looking for something onto Aphias, but Aphias actually does find him. Gets himself a bit of damage off.
Does, but unable to really push them away. Now, all are feeling grouping at mid and trying to apply pressure. Engage coming in.
Yeah, use that call of the forge god. Achu's going to get caught out and kicked. Uses the chains to buy some space, but that is just the pop. As they find themselves a kill. Teleports are getting used. They're looking to defend their towers right here, right now. It's going to be Mumus. He has that world ender. Does use it early. Infernal chains onto Dragain. Doesn't actually quite pull him back. Chimera goes into the backline. Gets kicked. Gets chained. Pings back. Pings in and out of the fight. But he can't find himself an opening. As Mumus is going to go for the Umbral dash over the wall. Finds himself a knock off onto Dragain, but not onto Jack Spectra. And MnM can't find themselves the kills.
Great restraint, though, from Phelan. They get the kill, a pick onto Achu with a massive shutdown in the pocket of Bear Tree. They get the tower, and they get out. They also burn double TP from MnM, which mitigates how well MnM can now play around this Baron using the side lane pressure. So really massive achievement for Phelan. And considering how rough this game looked, they found an avenue back into it. Just force, engage on this bot lane. And this was my big concern in draft about the Varus and the Senna. You know, they are both AD carries. You normally have a champion to protect either of them. Something like a Braum, often pivotal here, denies the Ornn engage. But by going the double AD carry, they've left themselves vulnerable. Now, Chimera potentially looking. He definitely has a burst to blow someone up.
Yep, he's looking for Bear Tree. Gets himself the chains. The Pop Blossom gets used, and Chimera is going to get his way out there as he actually jumps into Jack Spectra. Didn't expect to see the Draven. Chimera is going to have to jump away. That did force Bear Tree's R, though. So the Pop Blossom down for a little bit.
Yeah, bit of a misplay there. Chimera held his ult. Is the critical thing. It does allow him to get away, but I think if he'd used his full rotation, he would have just been able to pop Bear Tree.
I feel like if that was the double sigil into the distortion, that was just an easy kill.
Yeah, I think maybe he was concerned about Bear Tree potentially locking him up, not having the second distortion to get away. And bear in mind, he has 1,000 gold bounty, so if he dies there, massive gold swing to Phelan. So potentially takes the safer option, less likely to get a kill, less likely to die.
All chains do connect it into the damage, into the railgun. Has to use the wild growth. The Void Rush will come down and an instant kick back out, but that's enough to find that kill. Aphias is going to get it soft, tunnels away. The Whirling Death, not enough to find the clip, and Achu is just pumping that damage out. Aphias is getting caught out by the CC as Achu will fall. A double kill to Sawyer. Mumus joins into the fray, though, as now he's looking for something onto Dragain. Sawyer and Bear Tree very, very low, and the chains will pop twice in a row. Dragain able to get away, though, with that searing charge. Mumus still hunting him down, and now with the call of the Force God, Now the Pop Blossom, they might turn it
Great
around, but
stopwatch.
Mumus uses the stopwatch, does get caught out by the tangling barbs, and he is still chasing for the glory, for the kill, for the team fight turnaround. Misses out on the Infernal Chains, and this time he runs away.
And again, Phelan are finding good fights. Yes, it looked rough. Raisins nearly going down at the start, but they managed to again find a Chew. Despite the late turn-up of Chimera and Mumus, they just don't have enough in their kits to punish the Ornn, who is just so bulky. He manages just to kite that one out. We can't see the gold in front of us, so in the top lane, Beartree actually pulling ahead, likely due to that shutdown he got on a Chew. But there's still a big advantage of about 2,000 for the mid laner and AD carry. But these shutdowns can definitely put things in favor of Phelan. Still yet to find a kill for Jack Spectre. 0, 5, and 3. Not exactly how you want your Draven to go, but hopefully able to pick one up soon. Unfortunately, the stacks keep resetting, so he's at 60 again. It's not like he's able to stack up and have a massive 800 gold cash in.
He has to kill Chimera.
Essentially, if you want that cash in.
The pseudo Draven passive at that point is Chimera. He's looking to cash in on someone else himself. There's a lot of vision around, and he has got spotted out, and everybody's collapsing down. Ocean Soul spawning up here, and MnM, they want to get this. They want to fight for it, but the double AD carries may just find themselves caught out for the moment. They are using a lot of CC onto Dragain as the Pop Blossom is flashed away by a Chew. Muma's still in the middle of the team, buying some time as the Whirling Death's already been used. Chimera goes in, gets the double distortion. The piercing arrow is going to find the chunk, and Jack is down. The Chew gets the kill. Now the chasing for more. Sawyer being run down as the railgun will pick him off. MnM find the team fight.
And Phelan are the ones who looked for that engage, but they couldn't find it. A fire from a Chew, kite away. The flash from a Chew was critical, and ultimately the re-engage was punishing. Chimera coming in on the perfect flank.
Gonna get themselves the Baron and the Ocean Soul off that team fight. We're 25 minutes into this game. Chimera with the flash double distortion just minced through Phelan's health bars, and it has blown this game wide open in MnM's favor.
And you could see Phelan knew that they wanted to stay grouped together, use the CC they have available, use the power of the Lulu to mitigate anyone coming in, but that set Chimera perfectly up for that double distortion. The damage there, the AoE was huge, and it instantly won the fight for Phelan. From then on out, it was just them trying to escape, and now, as you said, Soul and Baron, an 8,000k gold lead just shy of it. Things are once again looking heavily MnM favored.
And let's look at what this means. Let's look at the items that are coming through. Chimera now has himself that needlessly large rod, the Morellos, and the Luden's Echo. Where you look at a Chew, this is the big difference. A lot of stopwatches, first of all, 3 active stopwatches available to MnM. But what I want to hit on is a Chew. He's got to play the Ruin King, he's got the Gwynzus and the Zeal, where Jack has literally just got a Death Stance and components of his Infinity Edge.
Now they're looking for a pick here on a Chimera. If he walks through that bush, they can potentially polymorph. Actually, they're just going to chase him down. They're not waiting.
He doesn't have ultimate. They're just going to get the kick. They're going to get the CC. He pings away for a little bit, gets that double distortion off. The Call of the Forge God is going to get used. The Soy gets pinged out. Chimera will fall, and the shutdown's given to Dragain. That is so bad for Jack Spectre. He needed that kill. And meanwhile, MnM, they don't care. They're just going to take your base.
But I think this is still a good trade for Phelan. 5 members at MnM is too much for you to withstand. Losing an inhibitor you can take, especially the mid one, not the most impactful. It gets going in!
They're going in, they've got that stopwatch. Chew's going to be able to buy away some damage. He's dodging out everything he can, gets himself the healing off. The heal is just too much as Dragain steps forward, but he is getting cut through like a hot knife through butter. Mumus slides in and secures the kill. Now Jack Spectre's getting CC'd, but with the tangling barbs, he's not able to chase up for more. MnM turn that back around, and the Chew just joins up full health.
Jack Spectre feeling confident here, but they're still looking.
Yeah, they are. Soft trying to find himself that knock-up. Can't quite connect it. There's a lot of slows to work with. The Infernal Chains might just pull him back into the waiting jaws of a Chew. And MnM may just look to close the game out here. Raisins is burning low. The railgun's not enough to find the kill, though, as they are onto the turrets. A Chew, he's doing his best just to kind of play PvE while the team play PvP. Turret number 1 will fall. Turret number 2 will be sure to follow. And 28 minutes on the clock. MnM put on a masterclass, and they shut out Phelan.
Really solid performance and a needed win for MnM. Phelan definitely didn't hold back though. They looked to challenge them in the fight, even though the early game decision making a little bit off and it gave MnM the lead. But this means MnM still hold their fate in their hands going towards playoff. The games next week will ultimately dictate if they make that 4th place spot, but they needed to get this one. So good performance from them.
Yeah, really, really solid performance from them. And they are now closing in on that playoff spot. They still have a lot to do. And like you said, it's the big one for MnM. It's their game versus Envision at the beginning of next week.
Yep.
Because that really decides a lot for them. Outside of that, they have to kind of be reliant on other people. But for the moment, MnM has still kept the fate in their hands.
Yeah, it's also dependent on Fnatic Rising because both teams play Fnatic Rising. And this is a team who, for the most part of the split, we've expected would beat both of these. But we've seen MnM nearly upset XL. We've seen Envision rising up in form. If either of these teams can take a game off Fnatic Rising, it potentially sets them up to maybe overcome the other team, even if they lose out that match between themselves. But we'll have to see. That's going to come down the next week. Ultimately, a strong performance from MnM. I feel like the bot lane, a little bit risky what they picked, but Achu was really solid. Defias, hard to punish, and Chimera, masterful performance on LeBlanc.
Chimera looking comfortable on a pick we know he's been performing so well on all split long, but that is going to do it for this game. We've still got more to go though. We've got Enclave taking on Demise coming up after the break, so don't go anywhere. We'll see you in a second.